Psalm 91. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in Him I will trust. Surely He shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the perilous pestilence. He shall cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you shall take refuge. His truth shall be your shield and buckler. You shall not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the arrow that flies by day, nor of the pestilence that walks in darkness, nor of the destruction that lays waste at noonday. 1,000 may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near you. Only with your eyes shall you look and see the reward of the wicked. Because you have made the Lord, who is my refuge, even the Most High, your dwelling place. No evil shall befall you, nor shall any plague come near you, your dwelling. For He shall give His angels charge over you, to keep you in all your ways. In their hands they shall bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone. You shall tread upon the lion and the cobra, the young lion and the serpent you shall trample underfoot. Because He has set His love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he has known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation.
This is Patrick Byrne, and thank you for watching His Glory. And we want to welcome all of His Glory Nation from east to west to north to south. Welcome to today's Take 5. We have Dr. Jerome Corsi in the house with us. We're going to talk about election fraud, cartels, drugs, banks, ActBlue, and more. Before we bring on Dr. Corsi, just a couple quick updates. One holiday, 4th of July, you can get the Camo His Glory for $8.88 plus the rest of our promo sale, 4th of July. Use promo code USA20 and send us pictures of your His Glory gear. We love to get those up. All right, Prayer Garden. Leave a legacy in Israel. This is down by the Jordan River. This is where 99% of the people go to get baptized in the Jordan River. You can put your name, your last name, a name of a loved one. Again, though, gets a lot of traffic. There's going to be a place where pastors will be able to give messages to their congregation when they go to Israel. We've baptized about 1,000 people just in that area in the Jordan River. So you can put your name and your legacy on the Prayer Garden on the Jordan River. Luxury for a Cause. Donate your high-end items to support His Glory Ministry mission and to bring in 1 billion souls to Christ. We're accepting high-end bags, jewelry, and clothing. If you feel the tug in your heart to donate, go to hisglory.me/donate or scan the QR code to make a difference today. All right, it's time for Dr. Jerome Corsi. Dr. Corsi, good to see you again.
Pastor, it's great to be back with you. Thank you very much.
Well, I think you've got a lot to talk about. There's a lot of explosive things taking off now, isn't there?
There sure are. I mean, it's a great time to be alive, and I think the hand of God is at work. And so I'm going to share. There's a lot of evil things we're going to discuss today, but I think there's remedies in the works, and that's the good news. And I believe we're blessed to have Donald Trump in office. I think the hand of God's on Donald Trump, and he's gotten some great wisdom and great advice, I believe, from above. And so I'm looking forward to the discussion, and we can start with the election integrity. I've got some announcements to make on that, which I think are going to be very important. So at God's Five, go ahead.
I was going to say that.
Please.
I was going to say the last time we were together afterwards, but we were with Colonel Douglas McGregor.
Yes.
Election night. And I remember you said that you're gonna catch them, and they caught him, and President Trump won. So I'll let you take it from here.
Well, we did. We had the algorithms. We knew how they cheated, which was that they have these codes in the state board election computers and their voter registration databases, they can create these thousands of false positive records, duplicate records, and there's codes in them where they can hide them and vote them in these mail-in ballot schemes. So in 2020, you saw the counting continued after election night, and they produced all these mail-in ballots and ran them through the machines and said Biden won. Well, that was the fraud. In 2024, in the presidential election, all the battleground states quit counting that night and reported for Trump. Now, the reason they did that is we were going to catch them. We had it all set to catch them. We knew exactly how they did it, and we would have put a bunch of them in prison for doing it. They decided they still use the algorithms on down ballot elections, so they're still there, and that doesn't mean until the fix is in. But I can announce to you what God's Five Stones is where we record all this. You go to our website, our 501c3, which is GODS, no apostrophe. You spell out five, F-I-V-E, and stones is plural, gods5stones.com. And you can see all the material that we produce, a lot of videos, a lot of explanations. But for instance, President Trump issued an executive order in March of this year, March 25th, mandating the states had about 180 days to initiate security measures, including they had to review their voting machines and voter rolls to see the threats to national security with all of these massive duplicate votes in it that are fake and violate a federal law where you can only have one voter ID. The voters have to be real voters. You can't just make up people and give them voter ID numbers that are legitimate voter ID numbers on these voter frauds. So I have here a 17-page paper, which is the initial draft. I mean, there's now circulating drafts of what President Trump's next executive order will be in August or September, when this time limit expires. President Trump is going to use the Article 2 powers as commander-in-chief plus other powers in federal law to mandate that the states have no choice but to abandon their current voter registration rolls and their computer systems, and go to a new registration by voter ID and proof of citizenship with paper balloting, paper counting, and counting. And there's a lot. I just give you some idea of the detail of what's being looked at right now, and on these groups that are working. Absentee ballots going to be under tight control. So we'll just pick a random paragraph. Counties shall authenticate each absentee ballot requested. The voter provided a full legal name of the voter, a full address, a full date of birth, proof of citizenship, and a personal identification number, all of which must match the information on the county eligible voter list. Otherwise, that mail-in ballot won't count. And so the counties have a lot of rules and regulations to know that who the person is requesting the mail-in ballot, that person got it, and that person submitted that mail-in ballot. It's going back to the old absentee ballot system, where if you wanted an absentee ballot, you could come and get one, but it was tightly controlled. Not this. The drop boxes are eliminated, the harvesting of votes are eliminated, and ballot custody chain procedures are put into place. I mean, these are procedures that are well thought out. And what they do is they make cheating very hard to do. Okay, so and there's no reason we should have cheating in our voting registration systems. I mean, if you miss a payment on your bank credit card, they let you know that right away.
They do.
They don't miss it. They don't miss that. I mean, you get your airplane seat assignment now on your cell phone, and there's not somebody else sitting in your seat. So these systems can be made to work if we want them to, but the criminals have controlled the voting system and the work. I'm working very closely with Peter Titkin. We are announcing on God's Five Stones we're entering a second phase. And what we're doing is I'm going to be working with Peter Titkin, who's President Trump's personal attorney. They've known each other since they were 15 years old. They went to the military academy together, and they've been friends ever since. And Peter Titkin was asked by President Trump to direct the Voter Integrity Project to come out with these rules and procedures. And Peter Titkin and I have worked on this hand in hand. We speak virtually every day. And General Flynn has joined us because this is a national security threat. What you have is foreign nations have penetrated these computers. And so therefore, computers are inherently a risk in the voting system because they're vulnerable to cyber attack and penetration. Somebody put these codes into the computer, and I think it was an intelligence agency job. I wouldn't be surprised if the CIA were involved, because these schemes mathematically are the complexity of intelligence agency cryptography. And they're, Andrew Paquette, Dr. Andrew Paquette is the one who found them. He did the first work on this, which was genius work. Cracking codes is not easy. And then I saw one of the lawyers in Ohio, Thomas Connors, the Mendenhall law firm in Akron, sent me Dr. Paquette's paper about a year ago and said, take a look at this. Tell me if it's legitimate. It's too hard for me to understand. It's too technical. It took about a week, and I called up Tom, and I said, Tom, this is 100% accurate. That's when we started. And since then, I've been working on this intensively, and I think that we have now cracked the code. We've identified the criminals. President Trump has appointed a task force that Tulsi Gabbard, as Director of National Intelligence, is tasked to Kristi Noem, Department of Homeland Security, and to Kash Patel. And I think we're also going to start seeing criminal investigations and criminal prosecutions. I know DOJ has been in several of the states, and the number of false registrations are millions. These voting systems in the states are so corrupt they're unusable, and they are unfixable. It has to be done over again. And so therefore, I think what we've done here, I think was in a sense God-inspired, because cracking these codes, it's almost impossible to have thought that the codes existed like this in our computer state boards of election. And now that we've found it and identified it, thank God they did not get used during the 2024 presidential election. Now we've got to make sure they're never used in the 2026 midterms, and we're working diligently to achieve that goal.
We'll be
Do you know that Amazon participates in the censorship of conservatives? Did you know they've pushed trans indoctrination on our children? We're in a war, and I'm asking you to be a part of something greater. I'm asking you to join our kingdom economy. We all need to buy cleaning products, clothes, and food. Why not buy from somebody that loves God? Go to our kingdom economy page and make a difference today. Let's defund the cabal and be a kingdom builder. No more money to going into destroying our lives, our children's lives. We need to take it away from them. We need to cut it off and build the kingdom through patriot and Christian organizations. Do you want to give your money to corporations that do not share our value and our God? Or do you want to feed the kingdom that gets this nation back and loves our God and puts our God first? Stand up for what you believe in. Swap where you shop. That's how we win. Fight with your dollars, and light wins. God bless you, and go in his shalom.
President Trump has a bold new vision to help secure America's future through the power of cryptocurrency. Partnering with pioneers like Elon Musk, he's turning crypto into the next frontier of financial freedom. But how can you advance your retirement in this digital age? Introducing BlockTrust IRA, the world's first AI-driven platform designed to help your cryptocurrency investments thrive. Thousands of retirees nationwide are already securing their futures with BlockTrust IRA and receive up to $2,500 in funding bonuses. The experts in accelerating wealth retirement.
We'll discuss that in a minute.
Yeah, we're back with Dr. Corsi. Dr. Corsi and I were talking in the break. Dr. Corsi, just quickly to the audience about what President Trump's going to do. As the commander-in-chief, can you explain that, how he can take this authority? And then we'll get into the cartel, drugs, and ActBlue.
Yes. Well, the key here is for President Trump is that he is commander-in-chief, and he has Article 2 powers, which are supreme. And this is a national security emergency. So the White House has released through the Justice Department that Christopher Wray, even in 2020, as you know, head of the FBI and the Department of Justice at that time, knew China had penetrated our elections in 2020 and had influenced the outcome of the presidential election in 2020. And the Department of Justice and the FBI suppressed that information. Now, that's not an accidental release. That means we've got a national security crisis that it compromises our welfare and our national security. So the commander-in-chief can take action to protect the nation, and the courts can't say anything about it. I mean, among the powers given in our Constitution, mostly checks and balances apply so that the courts can intervene. But when the commander-in-chief acts, the courts have very, very limited ability to intervene. I mean, the president is required by law to declare an act of Congress for war, but this is not a war declaration. This is protect the nation from election fraud. And Donald Trump issuing these orders on the authorities, commander-in-chief, and Article 2 powers can't be stopped by the courts. Right. So this is a very strong, determined action that's coming down the pike. And you see that behind the scenes, I've been in touch with DOJ in various states. I know that the records are being collected. Criminal investigations will be, I believe, brought to the bear against the states, just like you're seeing right now with the immigration laws. And I think Kash Patel, once he gets to hire the staff needed, and this is also true for Ed Martin, who's in charge of weaponization in the Department of Justice now. Department of Justice as an attorney in Washington, within the central headquarters, he needs staff. Once the staff is there, I think a lot's been going on behind the scenes. So I think we're going to start seeing things happen once this, big, beautiful bill gets passed and there's money to hire people that are loyal to Trump. The courts have cooperated. The Supreme Court ruled that these universal injunctions coming from one district court do not apply to the nation. That was a big decision this past week. Donald Trump is gaining, and he's gaining power to clean up the system despite the lawfare. And I'm very encouraged to see this go on. I think you're going to see fundamental changes come about in the next few months. We cannot allow these algorithms to remain in the state databases, or the midterm elections will certainly be stolen by the Democrats. I cannot believe, I think we have a lot of members of Congress who are Democrats who are elected by the algorithms. They were not elected by the people. And I think this is also going to apply to a lot of powerful GOP who have made a lot of money and control state boards of election to make sure they stay in power. The GOP rhinos are going to be under attack. People in Congress who have made millions and millions of dollars and have stayed there forever. Nancy Pelosi and Lindsey Graham combined are going to be under increased scrutiny and increased challenges in 2026. We just want to make sure the elections are run in a way where the cheating is very, very hard to do. And these new rules and regulations that are being discussed and promulgated right now, and the next executive order President Trump will issue, I think are going to go a long way to reassuring people that Trump is taking action. And I believe Kash Patel will be successful in investigating and finding crimes. Tulsi Gabbard and Kristi Noem, I think, will do their jobs. And so I think the end of this year is going to be a very, very proud year for those of us who want election integrity.
Wow, that is incredible news. So, Dr. Corsi, are we going to see high-level people finally go to jail?
I think we're going to have to. I think once this is brought out and the American people are going to see at the highest levels of government massive corruption, this is going to be, it needs to be exposed. I mean, biblically, we know that the truth does come out. And I think we're at a moment in history where the truth comes out. I know have been created and run God's 5 stones, we're going to do everything possible to publish all this data and explain it to the American people and empower